son wasn't. That just infuriated Yelka, and that's kind of when all the weird stuff started happening.
A mysterious package shows up on Alex's doorstep. Inside is a true crime novel.
Passages were highlighted, like, oh, they tied the woman, like hog-tied her and choked her, how they tortured this woman to make Alex understand that these were things that were going to happen to her.
Alex believes her former in-laws are behind the book, and that's not all they're up to.
She had been grocery shopping, and her in-laws were actually in the same grocery store. And when she looked up and over, her father-in-law looked straight at her in the eye and made a slit-throat gesture.
The threats are so disturbing, Alex leaves the house and moves in with her mother, Zdenka. One night, Angie visits Alex and her mother.
The three of us were sitting around playing cards.
I'll get it.
And the phone rang.
Hello?
Yeah, 3 coffins for you. 1 left.
The person that called said, there's 3 coffins ready for you. 1 for Alex, 1 for Zdenka, and 1 for Zdenka's mother.
Alex reports the incident to the police, but she's the only one to hear the caller's voice.
Alexandra said everything that happened was the fault of the Pesics.
Sometimes we think, oh, it was just exaggerated. Like, no, they really didn't do that.
Is Alex becoming paranoid? Could she be blaming Yelka and Sam of harassment because of the bitter custody battle? Even Alex's best friends aren't certain about the threats on Alex's life.
As Alex would say, they're going to kill me. And he's saying, don't be so stupid. They're not going to, like, why would they want to jeopardize the rest of their lives killing you? Nobody would do that. It's not going to happen.
In mortal fear, Alex turns to a psychic for answers.
This is not good. The psychic warned her to beware of a red, that her life was in danger, and to beware that there are people around her that are wanting to hurt her.
You need to be very careful. Very careful.
A few days later, Alex believes she's being followed. And it sends her running for her life.
Alex had said the next thing that's going to happen is I will be dead.
Alex Pesic is being chased by a red sports car. She makes it to the driveway of her mother's home and bolts for the front door. A man leaps out of the red car.
He had run up the driveway, chasing her up the driveway, but he tripped and fallen, and the gun flew out of his hand.
As the man grabs his gun off the ground, Alex gets to the front door, slamming and locking it behind her. She calls 911, but by the time the police arrive, the men are gone. Alex believes her in-laws are behind the incident and are intent on harming her.
Alex said the next thing that's going to happen is I will be dead.
So scared.
Someone will shoot me, and it won't matter where. It'll be in a mall. They don't care where they do this.
In a final attempt to protect herself and to prove that her in-laws are behind the threats, Alex contacts private investigator Ozzy Caban.
She was afraid for the child, but she was also afraid for her own safety, because what would happen to the child if something happened to her?
Ozzy's surveillance team begins the next morning outside Brandon's daycare. Alex hires them to keep an eye out, afraid her former in-laws might attempt to kidnap her son. Despite her fears, Alex sticks to her usual routine and goes to work at the dental office. Her coworker, Janet Walters, rides with her for support and to be a witness.
I just insisted that I come to and from work with her because she was always attacked when she was by herself.
I just hate driving alone these days.
The workday passes uneventfully. At 4:30 p.m., Alex and Janet head out to Alex's car for the ride home.
Did you hear what she was talking about at lunch?
It's broad daylight on a crowded city street.
We got into the car. We were just talking. I think we were just joking about something. I had a gym bag with me, and as we were talking, I was stuffing the gym bag down between my feet, and I started to hear the gunfire. I was too terrified to raise my head up, and I could feel her fall into the car and her body slump over. I was just in shock.
Janet sees a red sports car speeding away.
I kind of propped her up, and I could see she'd been shot in the head. It was just like the whole world stopped. And I couldn't even bear to look. I was too afraid to look at her.
Janet runs back into the office and calls 911. Paramedics arrive, but it's too late. Alex has been murdered. As the police begin to investigate, this time they find no shortages of eyewitnesses.
So whereabout were you at the time that this happened?
Was a red IROC, very flashy car that everybody noticed. And it sat there for a number of hours before Alexander came out and was killed on this particular day.
The red car turns out to be a stolen vehicle. But police track another car seen earlier at Brandon's daycare center, registered to a man named Milan Nanatic. When police take a look at Nanadic's background, they find a startling coincidence.
The Nanatics and the Pesics were family friends. The Nanatics were at Alexander and Joe's wedding.
10 days after the murder, police follow Milan and watch as he meets up with Jelka Pesic at a shopping mall.
Milan is seen to be getting out of his car and getting into the back seat of Jelka's car. Then they see Milan Nanatic get out of the back seat, and there was a big bulge in his shorts that hadn't been there earlier.
Detectives follow Milan home, and as he walks up his driveway, they see something peculiar.
He had like $30,000 fall out of his shorts.
With the evidence literally falling at their feet, police arrest both Milan Nanatic and Jelka Pesic.
She acted very indignant that she was accused of this. Like, this is all so ridiculous.
A major part of their investigation was attempting to go beyond Jelka and find some connection with Sam or Joe. But in fact, they were unable to find any kind of connection that would attach either of them to the incident.
3 men, the hitman and 2 accomplices, and Jelka Pesic are charged and convicted of murder. All 4 receive a sentence of life in prison.
Hearing those guilty verdicts for all 3 of them, there was some relief. Thank God, at least this. At least we know they're all going to jail. They're all going to pay for this crime.
Jelka Pesic still maintains her innocence, but others remain horrified by the viciousness of her crime against her daughter-in-law.
How could anybody rob their grandson of a mother who loved him so much?
It was a cold-blooded, hard, stupid murder. And for no purpose at all, but just to gain some kind of a satisfaction of putting somebody down into the ground.
If there was ever a mother-in-law from hell, Jelka Pesic is it.
Becky Dillard seems to enjoy living with her husband and his family. But that's all about to change.
Justin, you're a mess.
Becky,
Becky wanted to move on home. Justin didn't want to because he would have to leave his mother behind.
What are you doing?
He was married to Becky, but it was his mother that he wanted to please.
In 2001, near West Plains, Missouri, Becky Griffin leads a quiet, simple life. Even though she's only 4'11", the petite beauty has always stood out in this quiet country town of 11,000.
Everything had to be perfect. Her hair had to be perfect. What she wore had to be perfect, even the accessories. So I called her Miss Priss, and she hated it.
In junior high, Becky meets her match in Justin Dillard.
The first time I saw her, she was getting off the school bus, and I just thought she was the cutest thing that I'd ever seen. I fell in love as soon as I saw her.
He and her got along like two peas in a pod. They were exactly alike. Justin was a good guy. I liked him.
But after high school graduation, the childhood friendship turns into something more.
Becky would always smile at him. If you notice people being in love, they have that glitter in their eye. The way they looked at each other is how I can tell that they were in love.
Becky has big plans for her future, college and a career. But a few months after she starts dating Justin, 19-year-old Becky becomes pregnant and the couple gets engaged.
Becky's dream was to have family. I didn't think she planned on doing it so young, but you find your true love and that's what happens.
Straight out of high school, we really didn't know what we were doing. I was terrified to have a kid.
What if he plays baseball?
We jumped ahead of ourselves, way ahead of ourselves, but that's what we wanted. We wanted to be together.
The young family moves in with Justin's mom, Deborah. Deborah loves Becky like the daughter she never had. At least she does at first.
Becky and my mom were very close. A lot of the times I feel like my mom and Becky got along better than me and my mom did. She wanted me and Becky to be together because she knew how happy I would be with her.
Deborah makes her income providing housing for disabled veterans. Her boyfriend, Billy Eastup, also moves in.
Hey, good morning.
Becky liked Billy. She just thought he was strange, and she thought that my mom could do better. But my mom loved him, and she wanted to be with Billy, so we were okay with it.
On August 22, 2004, Becky gives birth to a son. They name the boy Kobe.
So is my soul within me. Israel, hope is the Lord now and forever. And I hope you will remember that.
Just before their son's first birthday, the couple celebrate their dream wedding.
It was awesome that she was going to get married to someone that she loved.
The best thing about my marriage was I got to be with Becky every day and see her smile and her laugh.
But Becky and Justin's wedded bliss proves to be short-lived. Once Justin's casual drinking turns into something more serious.
So, what's for dinner?
Justin was actually taking care of one thing, a bottle. He just changed. He would not stop drinking.
A few beers is okay, but you're drinking our family to death.
You just need to calm down. You're too upset about whatever.
Justin,
I think that I was an alcoholic. We got into a few fights over it.
I need you to stop drinking and get a job.
Justin's mother, Deborah, downplays her son's drinking problem, much to Becky's frustration.
Becky, it's not that big a deal.